Yeah. Find your path with the knowledge of others and become an illuminator for those who struggle. Guide their way just by being true and being in alignment because it comes naturally to you. On self-discovery wisdom, we share to find inspiration with lessons for millions. We hope you listen.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I am your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest today is Mary Farias. Hopefully I've said that right. We're going to be talking about her book, Gym Rats. We're going to be talking about how she's embraced her differences in life, the redirects, whether they were bumpy, whether they were smooth. We're going to be talking all about that because it's important to talk about how you have shaped your economy. And she believes in creating the you shaped economy with one human being at its center, the you. So she says that she is an economy creator at heart, meaning that she has never embraced the traditional ways of earning money or having a job. Instead, she has followed her interests and desires and had found ways to earn money doing those things. For instance, her first job was as a gymnastics coach at 16 because she loved the sport and she wanted to teach it to others. This was a focus for her for many years. When she wanted to combine her love of writing and sport, she started a publishing company, IrisBlu Publishing, by writing and publishing a series of gymnastic books called Gym Rats. And then when her daughter was born, she evolved into opening a gymnastics center with her husband. And she coached and ran the programs and felt the pull to do something even more. She was doing more than teaching gymnastics. She was teaching the important life skills. But beyond that, she was teaching these kids how to believe in themselves. Because she wanted to do better and to see better in serving them, she continuously looked to self-development resources to strengthen her coaching. She came across Bob Proctor, and in studying him and his work, she realized that she had found the missing link. And she found that through gymnastics was her path to get to this point. It wasn't her destination. So in 2021, rather than rebuilding the gym after the pandemic, her husband and she decided to close down and go all in on as personal and professional development consultants. Along with her new podcast called The Economy Creators, she maintains her publishing company and she used ways to further her clients by publishing her own books, but also publishing theirs, whereas spotlighting them in the economy creators on her show. And she wanted to keep them going to see where the journey takes her, always listening to her intuition to guide her, following her desires. That's a huge point, folks, is paying attention to what the inner voice is saying. What is it saying? How is it guiding you? I call that the nudge, nudge, wink, wink before you get the cosmic 2x4. And if we are in tune with ourselves, we'll get that tap on the shoulder. Yeah, this has been all very well. It's all very great, but I think you need a little cha-cha to the left or the right. And it's that willingness to step away from something that may be comfortable and explore what else is out there. Welcome to the show, Mary.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm so happy to be here.
I love somebody who embraces their redirect because so many people fight it, don't they?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And what I love doing is listening to those desires that we've had our whole lives that we may have kind of ignored or put on the back burner. And what I find is that those are really the callings that we're supposed to be
Mm,
developing as adults, even if we had them as children.
yes. Very often when we get something as children, that's the seed of passion, the seed of direction. But then we go off. And sometimes it's to learn skills and tools unknowingly. All right. So
Mhm.
that when it sparks back up in us again, we are more equipped for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that happened with me with horses. I've
Mm,
had horses in my life since I was a little kid, and then I just wanted a pony so bad. And my sisters had ponies, and I just wanted that truck to come in with the pony in the back. But finally she did when I was 6. But I stopped with horses when I went to college and
Mhm.
pursued gymnastics as a Division One athlete, and then in my 30s I remembered that and
Mm.
I started up again, and it was now I spend every morning at the barn.
Mm. And of course, horses are just, they are such intuitive creatures.
Oh.
The heart is actually kind of three times the size and can really reach out, and they kind of just embrace you with their entire aura and essence. And it's kind of, a lot of people think that wisdom has to be articulated in words. But when you're around animals and nature, and even just allowing the cosmos to speak to you, you realize you're getting a download of wisdom all the time if you can get out of your intellectual way.
Yes. And I think animals are the perfect way for people to understand energy and
Hmm.
start there, because I have a little bunny rabbit too. And if I chase her, she's going to run. But if I walk up to her slowly and start petting her, she's going to want to love back. And we can really understand our energy. If I'm upset, she's not going to want to be around me.
Exactly. And I think that's what some people don't understand is that whatever we're feeling is what we're resonating. It's
Mhm.
what we're putting out there. And so if you are in a bad mood, it's, go and do what you need to do to go to a bridge and scream at the train as it's going under. Go and do something to release that, because otherwise you're going to impose it on someone. It's the same with sorrow. If you're going through grief, take the time to go through the grief. Nobody wants you to not grieve because you have to. And everybody understands that you can be happy one moment and the next moment be down. But it's like you're grieving a job, you're grieving an end of a marriage, you're grieving someone's a loss, and then you're bringing that grieving unknowingly to everyone else, and it can pull them down. And they also feel helpless to know what to do. So, kind of coming in and saying, I'm struggling today. I need someone to lift me up. You're giving people permission, right? You're choosing that positive living. And
Mhm.
that then kind of enables people, because we all want to be givers, don't we? We're born givers, I think, except for a few. They're generally politicians. But anyway, so,
Just a few.
so giving is something that we all need to do, but it's knowing what in our hearts to give.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's where that intuitive nudge comes from, and that wink, wink, nudge, nudge that you were
Yes.
talking about. And we all are here for a reason, and we're all
Hmm.
here to give something to the world and to contribute something in some wonderful way. But if we're not quiet enough to listen, we might not ever hear it.
And I think in a world that's got so much noise and so much static and so much heavy frequency, it's really hard to find the space where you can trust what it is you're hearing that is the truth.
Yeah, and it starts with intention. We have
Mm,
to look for that space. We have to clear it for ourselves and make a time for it and make a space for it. Otherwise, you're right, the world's gonna fill that gap in, and it's just going to fill up with noise, and we're never gonna hear it.
no. And I think that, a lot of people just don't know how to do that. You can talk meditation, and for some people, they think, I can't get cross-legged. Hurry up, meditation. I haven't got all day. And, it is like you going to the horses in the morning. That is your frequency set.
It
And
is.
it's fine. Is it going for a walk? Is it going for a swim? Is it playing with the kids or the animals? Where is it where you feel your deep breath, your because that is you connecting to that inner core, and then do everything in the day from that inner core.
Yes, absolutely. And I like to think of my horses as my grounding.
Yeah.
And that's just the time that I spend every day in that moment, in that space with them. And if I didn't have that, I would burn out, because I
Mm,
do a lot of work, and I am very I do a lot of things, and it would be very easy to burn out in this type of world. And I think that that's the same thing for any economy creator.
mhm.
If you pile it on without that grounding, without that reset, like you said, we we will burn out.
We get so overloaded, we just don't know what is what anymore.
Hmm.
And that's the problem. We don't know what is what. And that's when we start making bad decisions because the clarity isn't there. And you talk about that economy setting, and a lot of people think economy, money, money, money. But I'm talking about the enrichment of the abundance of self. When
Yeah.
you step into your own essence economy, your own meaningful purpose, your own soul, heart, and spirit economy, your own intellectual economy, right? Then the actual driving force to the physical economy is a really clear path.
Yes. And that's the thing that I really stress to people is that we need to understand that if we are the center of our own personal economy,
Mm.
then we need balance throughout the entire thing. We need that reset spot. We need
Yes.
that money to come in. We need that the house that we want to live in, the place that we
Hmm.
want to be. We have the family, we have the interests. All of those things are a part of this economy. Because if it's not balanced, we don't have the ideal. We just have
Exactly.
pieces.
Hmm. And how do you put pieces together? It's like trying to, put a puzzle together, kind of. I know a lot of people talk about do the borders first. I lived with someone who's now 92. She does 1,000-piece puzzle a week. And what she does is she takes all of the edges and puts them in one bag or one tray, takes all the color here, all the multiple color there. Now she's set and she puts all the outsides and then starts building color by color. And basically, what that is doing is how are you strategizing, right? What is
Mhm.
your strategy to your economy creator, to what steps you need to take? Are you just diving in and taking this piece and trying to put it together without a strategy? And I think that's something when you've got a desire and you've got a dream and you see it and you feel it, strategy doesn't always come knocking at the door.
No, no. Well, and that's what I've noticed in my conversations with economy creators is that the ones that are really making it happen started with themselves first. They started
Yes.
by leading themselves.
Mm,
And that's where the meditation or the grounding, that reset comes in and understanding one, what you desire, but
mm,
two, who you are and then set the strategy in place. And that starts with leading ourselves. We have to be self-disciplined. We have
mhm.
to decide what it is. We have to make decisions. Let's just put it,
Yes.
just decide things and
Choose positive living. Yes,
choose
you've got to
positive living.
choose. Yeah.
Exactly. And once we do make decisions about how we're going to show up and who we want to be and what we want to achieve, strategy begins to show up. But
Mm,
when we don't make decisions, it's a hodgepodge, isn't it?
yes. And sometimes we just don't know how to make a choice because again, there is so much information coming. What's relevant? Now, if you have invested in yourself first, all right, how do you recognize your own inner truth? How do you know your own inner abundance, like what you are capable of doing, your aptitudes? What I've done with the nearly 14 years I've been in there is the people that are now living the most fruitful life discovered their courage, discovered their strength, discovered their abilities that led them to their meaningful purpose. But it all came from a rocky road. And that rocky
Yeah.
road isn't out to get you, it's there to show you okay, if I put you in this situation, are you going to find your resilience, your strength, your courage? Are you going to discover those abilities that you need that now can take you through everything else in life? We've got to do the self discovery of who and what we are before we go chasing a desire of what we think we want to do.
Yes, and you know what? I was a gymnast for many, many years, and it felt like the natural thing, right? I started as a gymnast. I became a gymnastics
Hmm.
coach, like you said, when I was 16, and then right out of college, I was um, the program director of a local gym, and then we had our child and we opened our own gym. I wrote books about gymnastics, and so it was the central figure of my life. And then when I wanted to this shift to personal development, something larger, it was scary. I had to
Yeah.
shift my self-image. I had to, I thought my daughter was going to be 18 when we chose to close the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And COVID said, well, look, you can either start over with this or you can go down this new path that you
Mm,
found. And it was very scary to go down the new path that I found because I had already done the gym and I knew how to do it,
exactly.
But the other thing is, I already did the gym and I knew how
Mhm.
to do it, which meant I had to choose the new path.
And it showed you that, yes, you could sit complacently, right? Because that's when we get complacent. But when you look at it and go, well, I've actually done the gym. I've actually had I've written the books about it. I've had the success on that. How about I take all of those aptitudes and pour it into something else? It's not like you're starting again. You're taking all the skill, the strategy, all the wisdom and applying it to something else. But we've got to be willing to renew ourselves and try different paths. Otherwise, we do become stale and complacent.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when people say, I'm stuck. Now what?
Mm,
What do I do? Well, are you listening
yeah.
to that pull? What do you most desire? And so many people I find have stopped listening to that desire.
Mm,
They've pushed it to the back burner because I have a mortgage to pay and I have to do
yes.
this and I have obligations and all of these things, but we're not here just to pay bills.
Right. Right. And, the thing is, nobody says you have to shut this door to open that one straight away.
Right.
You have that desire. What does it take for you to ignite that desire? And number one is you're going to go through a journey to do that. Are you ready for it? Right? What are you going to need within yourself? Never mind your skills, within yourself to face this new one, because maybe for a while you're going to be juggling both before you can completely move over. And are you willing to give it your all? Right.
Hmm.
And you've got to go. It's not just a question of jumping from one to the other, because you don't bring success with you into that, because you actually don't know what skills you really do need, what mindset you're really in. And although you had that desire on this journey of leading to that desire, you may find that desire changed.
Yep.
But it's the journey that's so important, isn't it? The journey to a desire, to a redirect. That
Mhm.
is really, really important.
Yeah. Yes. And there are rocky roads, there are ways that we're like, am I on the right path? Am
Hmm.
I am I doing the right thing? But I thought I was, but what about this? And what I've found is that obstacles are here just to prove who we're becoming.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
They're here for you to jump over,
Yeah.
walk around if you need, or remove it.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's not there to get you. It's not there to push back. It's there to say, okay, what are you going to do with it?
Hmm. Well, and that's funny that you said, well, it's not funny. It's just apt that you say it because they don't push back, do they?
No, no,
The only pushing is us.
yes, exactly. And very often we're pushing everything away because it feels too hard, or who do I think I am? Oh, I could never do this. Everybody says just stay where you are, you're stable, right?
Mm,
And so you're going through the outside voices, you're going through the inner doubt voice, you're going through, am I ready for this? All of that doubt. It's natural. But what you've got to make sure is that the other voice is stronger.
yeah. Yeah, and it takes discipline
Mm,
to listen and to heed that voice because it's very easy to ignore because it doesn't talk back to us. It
no,
doesn't it doesn't argue. It just speaks.
yes.
And we argue back
Mm-mm.
a lot.
But I don't want to do that.
Right. Right. How am I gonna do that? Right.
I think the willingness to be uncomfortable, right? A lot of people just don't want to be uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And, for me, it's the cosmos has always thrown me into something,
Hmm.
right? Pick me up and throw me in a new direction and like make something out of it. All right. And it's,
It can be, yeah, for sure.
and there's some things that have worked, and there's some things that absolutely crashed. but in hindsight saw the reason why, right? And
Mhm.
then you'll find when you do actually find something that you really want to embrace, that really speaks to you, heart, soul, spirit, mind, and body, then you realize all of those other things you went through were preparing you for this one moment.
Absolutely. And that is evident. And I was so grateful that I spent my early years in such a tough sport
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
it really did develop those types of skills because
Mm.
not just gymnastic skills. That was just the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
But these life skills that I
Hmm.
learned because I had a goal that was so big and there were a lot of scary things that I had to do to reach that goal that I wouldn't have chosen to do if I
You're
didn't
right.
have that goal,
Mm.
right?
But let's talk about gymnastics. Yes, you can learn technique, right? And technique in anything, riding a horse, there's some technique to it, but
Hmm.
there's a great deal of intuition. There's a great deal of listening, right? You can be doing something. We see it all the time with people that are, perfect. They're at the Olympics and then there's just the one wrong fall or the one wrong something. There goes the ankle or there goes this or miss the Olympic gold by 1/4 of a millionth of a second, and
Right.
the thing is, it doesn't matter how much you're prepared for something, it's always listening. No, Simone,
Hmm.
for,
Simone
for
Biles.
instance, no, I'm off kilter. I'm
Hmm.
off kilter. I can't continue with this. Everything about me is off balance. And a lot of people, whoa, you're letting us down, etc. No, she's honoring herself. And I think that's something we need to actually understand. Stop apologizing for putting yourself first and balancing yourself. Because if you're out of balance, you're no good to anyone, and you're certainly no good to yourself.
Yeah, and that's something that we do have to learn because it's conditioned into us to
Mm,
to serve everybody else
yeah.
first. And I just go back to the airplane, right? Put your
Yes.
mask on first because
Yes.
otherwise you're no good to anybody else.
No, how can you help somebody if you have no breath in you?
Right. Right.
And it's also an awful lot harder, please trust me on this, to pick yourself up, when you feel so trodden down and you feel like there's nothing left in you. How am I even going to get up and stand up, never mind move forward?
Right.
And those are the cosmic 2x4s, and I've had a few of them because perhaps I'm a bit dense, you know, that I wasn't paying attention to the inner voice. Um, but it is hard sometimes to get back up, and that's where you've got to honor yourself with one breath at a time, right? One thought at a time, paying attention to your inner self, and let yourself stand up and start walking forward again from the inside out. And that means shutting off the rest of the world
Hmm.
because the rest of the world is going to dictate how you do it. And you need to listen in to know how to do it.
Well, and as you continue to do it, they're still going to talk back at you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
how do you shut your inner voice out? We want the right voice that's, yes, you can do it, do it this way, do it that way. And then you've got, I call it the head voice. Because when you talk about wisdom, that's the soul wisdom, universal wisdom, God, universe, soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it. That wisdom is knowingness. It gives it to our heart in truth. It gives it to our spirit in action for our mind to know in clarity what it needs to know when it needs to know it. And if we listen to that, it is, I know.
Hmm.
Don't need to verify, validate, justify. I just know. But then comes the head goes, well, what is it you know?
Yeah, right. Right.
So how do you switch the head off so you can listen to the heart and soul?
Yeah, I know. And one of the things that I remind my clients is that your intuition, universe, the
Mm,
God, whatever you want to call it,
mm,
like you said, that voice is never going to tell us that we are less than,
exactly.
you know. It's always
Mm.
going to say, you can do this, keep moving. It's going to say, go here, go there. It's not going to say, you're doing it wrong. It's not going to do that. It's going to show you the way.
So how do we keep the voice, the other negative, conditioned, um, And very much, and I call it societal conditioning, obviously religious and education conditioning. You must do it this way. You cannot be different. How do we get that voice to shut up so we can listen to once this other voice takes over, this voice hasn't got a chance, right? But in the
Yeah.
meantime, it's that fight of the two voices.
Yeah, and the one thing that I teach people first and foremost, and I got this from my mentor, Bob Proctor, is that we need to, one, listen to our desires
Mm,
and then create a self-image script.
mm,
Create the version of us who has the life, the economy that we really truly desire. The personal life, the professional life, the well-rounded thing. And how does this version of us show up? And really what it's creating is a blueprint for
mm,
ourselves to have this idea of how we live, how we answer questions, how we think in the moment, how we feel in the moment, and how we act in the moment. Because when we have this blueprint, we're really focused on it.
mhm,
And focus brings it to fruition. What
mhm,
we focus on grows. And so if we're focusing on whatever is coming into our minds, we're not growing that intuitive voice. What we're doing is growing the outside voice. So what
mhm,
we need to do is really focus on these nudges, on these desires,
mhm,
and listen to them one at a time
mhm,
and focus on them. Bring our attention to them. And I say pick up a pen and a paper and just start writing out what it looks like and how you want to live. And when we get that clarity, then we can guide ourselves and we can hear that voice.
mm. It's what you water grows, so don't plant weeds.
Yes.
Right? You want a nice flourishing garden. And I also say that, uh, the brush is in your hand, it's your canvas. Don't paint what you don't want, paint what you desire. Don't paint from the head, paint from the heart,
Hmm.
paint from the soul, and let the picture reveal, because then it's the inside voice mirroring back at you, not the conditional voice, right? But I used to get people in my coaching to do two columns. One column was everything they thought that was wrong in life, everything, right? This person, that person, this, that, my job sucks, you name it. Write everything that they're grateful and positive for. You'll always find that one be smaller and the great one longer. Then I would say to them, which one are you feeding? Because
Yep.
whichever one you're feeding is the one that's growing. And
Yep.
I suggest you tear this one or the negativity and set fire to it and release it and purely focus on the positive, starting off with every single day being grateful to be alive.
Yes. I opened my eyes this morning. Thank
Exactly.
you. Thank
Exactly.
you.
I have a
Yeah.
day of opportunity and possibilities before me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that what you share with your clients and one of the things too is that we have to continue to monitor our thinking because
Yes.
the voice that we hear the most is that inner head
Yeah.
bleh,
Hmm.
voice saying, "Oh, who are you? What? You spilled the coffee again? What are you talking about? What are you doing? You're
Very
terrible."
opinionated.
Right. Right. And how are we talking to
Yeah.
ourselves? If is it nurturing or is it feeding that negative column?
Hmm.
Yeah, we
Right.
have to
And
monitor.
it's also this whole thing about perfection. We have perfect moments in time, perfect moments that happen. Ah, this feels perfect. And that's what it's meant to be, a moment in time that makes it feel perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. There is joy, there is accomplishment, there is satisfaction, right? There is all of that, grateful for the opportunity. And those add up to perfect moments. But if we're, how many people, and I bet you come across this with your client, yes, I will start this new business when everything's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me? You're
Mm-mm.
never going to start it. Never.
Never.
Mm.
Never. Are you kidding? When we started our gym, we didn't have enough money. We didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
place. We it was a brand new business and the landlord, our real estate broker said nobody lends to or nobody allows new businesses to move in and do this. This is that it's against all protocol. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to create a business plan and I'm going to go do it. I'm going to
Mm,
talk to the guy and we're going to make this happen. But if I had listened to the broker, I probably
yeah.
wouldn't have even tried.
No, you would have given up automatically. And I think that's the thing. If it really means something to you, it's how many, let's take a singer, how or an actor, that goes for a gig. How many no's you're going to get before you get that one yes? And then
Hmm.
you might have a few really good yeses. It still doesn't take you anywhere until that one role comes along. All right. Overnight sensation, but you've been in the business 10 years,
Right,
right?
right.
Is that it's not developing the thick skin, just understanding that the no's are not because of you. It's just that you're not in the image of what they want, right? And what you're doing is you keep driving for that yes,
Yeah.
right? Keep looking for the yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we know what it is that we want, we start getting more clear on that
Mm,
picture, and the universe starts sending us things, and you're like, nope, that's not quite it.
yeah,
And you get clearer on the picture, and the universe sends you something else, and you're like, that's not quite it. So it's our job to get as
yes,
clear as we can. So
yeah.
the universe goes, oh, here you go.
And it also then the essence of what we believe in and the essence of who we become, because we become this
Mm,
desire, is felt. The people like, I'm not, I don't know, on paper, I shouldn't, but, I'm just going to give this person a chance, right? Because
right.
I feel it. And I think this is the thing we are not taught. And something I really want to see being taught is how to feel your knowledge, not think it,
Yes,
feel it.
yes,
Feel it in every bone and every pore of your body for you to understand what you're thinking, not the thinking to drive the feeling,
yes,
because that's what leads us down emotional, negative versus positive road. When we feel it, we instruct the mind to know, okay, I need this from you and this from you to feed this possibility.
yes. Neville Goddard says feeling is the secret.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Mm-hmm.
into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel
Yes.
like you're there. We just have to
Yes.
identify what it is that we want,
Uh-huh.
think about how it feels,
Uh-huh.
and then stay there.
Exactly. Imagine, make a little movie in your mind of all the success that you're having doing what you're doing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And Mr. or Mrs. Doubt comes along and says, sorry, wrong stage.
Yep. Wrong stage. I like that. Yeah. Go
There is a
away.
nice dead end for you over there.
Well, and that's the other thing is Bob Proctor calls this conditioning, he calls them paradigms.
Mm,
And we can talk to our paradigms and say, you know what, I'm not picking you up today. I'm not buying that
yes.
today. Right?
So yeah, sorry, this is going to cost too much. I'm just not interested in your commerce. Right?
Right.
And I think that is another thing is actually understanding how to say no to things,
Hmm.
how to say, because when we're trying to start a business, we kind of say yes to everything to try and see if it fits. And it's like if you take back and go, you know what, that's not a right fit. That's not a right fit. It's not going to be positive for the business. I have to say no to this. And people go, but you will get this, you will get that. You're a new business. Da, 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 da. Why are you saying no? Right? And it's no, it's got to understand if it doesn't feel right, don't pursue it because it's only going to lead you to that dead end.
Yeah, and I think too that we have to build ourselves up to trusting our
Yeah.
intuitive voice, you know. And I give the example of I went grocery shopping one day and I was in the vegetable aisle and it said I heard this voice say buy onions and I argued back. I said I don't need to buy onions. I have a whole bag of onions at home. And it didn't argue. I argued with it and I got home and all my onions were rotten. So had I listened to that
Mhm,
voice, I would have had onions.
mhm.
But that's a very, you know, very docile example. But at the same time, that's when we start listening and we
Yes.
practice, right?
And stop arguing.
Yeah, stop arguing.
Right.
Yeah, and listen.
Yeah.
Start listening. It's
You
going
know,
to tell you to do everything. It
right.
really is.
Yes, exactly. You know, we kind of sign a contract before we come here to have an earthly experience. And, you know, sometimes that experience is going to be hard. Sometimes it's easy. It depends just how many experiences we've had in past lives. And but it isn't there to punish. It isn't there, oh, past life where, you know, you were evil and now you're going to come back and pay for it. It is because you have to go through soul school before you can come back. But the whole thing is that if we actually understand we are beautiful, essent beings having this human experience, and that we are in partnership with that wonderful divine wisdom, that it is here to guide us and nurture us and show us all that we're meant to be and all that we're meant to achieve, we argue less because that argument is coming from conditioning, right? And we look at society today, we look at how everything is out of balance. And do you truly want to continue down that road? Or would you like to go down a road where you can actually feel every breath, where you can feel your meaningful purpose, where you can feel this is my enrichment, this is my abundance, this is my economy, and I am feeling so purposeful in it. And I didn't have to think it because I feel it. But you gotta be willing to take the journey though.
Willing, yes. And, people are going to have their opinions, and we just have to remember, like you said, who we truly are. And we're individual expressions of
Mm,
God, of the creator, of
yeah,
source energy, and we are here to listen and do. Yeah, that's really,
exactly. And you know, I'm always saying that our evolution into a higher consciousness is behind time. And I think a lot of the disruption that we're seeing right now is a reminder that we're so much more than the humanoidism. And this is why we're seeing so many more people awaken to this higher consciousness, higher meaningful purpose, that the more that we come from a place of love and passion, you know, the more that we open up the possibilities and the more people we water and fortify for them to step into that same love and passion. This is the healing of the world. This is the creativity, and this is the evolution that we're meant to go through. And this is why Bob Proctor and others were given the gift to share the gift, right? For others to open up and understand their own gift.
yes.
But it is again the free will. You've got to be willing to participate. You've got to be willing to go through the motions. You've got to be willing to apply. My shows are listen, learn, and apply, right? But you don't have to do it alone,
No, you don't.
right?
Right.
And even though you follow Bob Proctor's uh, blueprint, you're still going to share this from your own essence, from your own frequency and signature. And this is
Absolutely.
understanding there's no one size fits all. And when you feel a resonance with someone, follow through. Follow through. There's a reason why you're getting that person's signature. There's
Hmm.
a reason why you're tuned into that person's vibe. It might just be a conversation, or it might be they've got what you need for your next evolution.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have found more and more that the questions that pop up are all the conditioning.
Mm,
You know,
yes.
make a list of pros and cons and do
Yeah.
this and do that. No, you don't need to do that. You just have to
Mhm.
ask, what do I want? And listen to the answer, and it'll share with you exactly what it is to do. It'll just be evident. It just will.
And you know, when you ask, why do I want it? Is it a head thing or is it a heart thing?
Yes.
Right? That's the difference. You know, why do I want it? Because it's expected of me?
Mm-hmm.
Or why do I want it? Because it is my true heart's desire.
Yes. Yes. When I was coaching gymnastics and had all these kids, I always insisted that they had a goal, of course. And um, many of them had their parents' goal for them, not
Uh-huh.
their own goal for them. And
Yes.
the ones that had their parents' goal for them fizzled out and quit.
Yes. Yes, because it wasn't their journey to be had.
Right.
right? And but then, as you said, through your gymnastics training, you're already wanting to go, you are more than just the gymnastics. You're more than this. Let's look at how do you apply this to your life? How do you um, keep that self-esteem? Which, of course, when
Mhm.
we look at, one of the common denominators, it's a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-esteem that becomes our nemesis. And the two words I don't like is compare and compete. Leave
Mhm.
compete for competitions. Don't compete with one another. Don't compare with one another. We're all beautiful, unique instruments. And teaching that to children while they're young and having them feel their own self-achievement with what they achieve rather than somebody else's expectation is just so much more liberating.
Oh, absolutely. And they're so much more, they're just ready to go out into the world then,
Yes, and
you
do
know,
it for themselves.
and do it for themselves. Yeah. Yeah, I had a gymnast who was going off to college, and it was between two colleges, one across the country and one in state. And I said, "Where do you want to go?" And she goes, "Well, I'm weighing my pros and cons and deciding." And I said, "Where do you want to go?" And she goes, "Over there." And I said, "That's where you should go."
That's
You know,
right. That's your pro,
yeah,
right?
that's your pro, your desire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
sometimes we don't know why we want to do things. And
Hmm.
that's okay. And it might be that we do it and it didn't turn out exactly the way we thought, but it was there for a lesson. What did you learn? Because
Yes.
that's for you to take on the next journey. Don't look at that because something didn't turn out to be the success you thought it would be, that it was a waste of time. It's always a lesson and it's preparing you for when you find that right path.
Right. And the lesson might just be, you know what? I was thinking in the wrong way during
Mm,
that experience. I could have thought this way instead, and it may have turned out different, right? And so we're learning about how to handle our internal selves
yeah,
in each of these lessons that we have. Wallace D. Waddell says, every dog that barks and every dog that wags its tail is an opportunity to learn. And
yeah.
so there you go.
Talking about dogs and horses and things like this, I highly recommend that people be around them more
Yes.
because they are so present in the moment, right? They are so, I mean, especially dogs, cats, different case altogether. But I've just looked after my son's dog and cat while they were in Mexico. Unfortunately, Puerto Vallarta when the whole thing happened. But they were both fighting over my lap. In fact, I've got a picture of the dog on my lap and the cat trying to sit on top of the dog with the tail wrapped around its neck. All right. They all wanted a piece. And then my daughter took over for the weekend and she's got the same photographs and they're all fighting over the lap. And it's like, no, I need to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to disturb the cat and the dog, because it's not just them sitting on the lap, it's what they're giving you when they're sitting on that lap. It's just
Mhm.
pure love.
It is.
It's like if we're feeling a lack of, then why don't we go somewhere where we know there is an abundance of?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what it does is serve as a reminder that abundance is everywhere.
Absolutely. We've
Yeah.
just got to channel our thinking, haven't we? And I understand if you've been hurt and you're in pain or you're in distrust, that's all everybody's journey. They're going to go through that. But again, the more you stay the victim, the more you're empowering the victimizer, right? And the
Mhm.
more you say, okay, this happened to me, but now what? I'm going to make it happen for me, the more you become the victor. And it's that choice again, back to that choice.
It is. It's all a decision. And the decision, once we make it, all of the opportunities will show up, all of the people we need will show up, all of the resources will show up.
Yeah,
Even like I said, when we opened our gym, we had no money.
yeah,
But once we decided and we found the place that we wanted, guess what? Money showed up.
yes,
We didn't
yes.
even ask for it, and money
Mm.
showed up. And that's the universe going, oh, they're serious. Okay, here you go. But you have to make that decision to say, I'm serious. This is what I'm doing.
The right intention,
Yes.
right? And if you're doing it for, fame, glory, one-upmanship, the six figures, then you're chasing the wrong. chasing the exterior, not the interior. You were doing it because you knew what gymnastics had done for you. You wanted to bring that to children, not just the joy of it, but the discipline and the focus that they can take through their lives, right? There was a passion behind it. And that's the thing, when there's a passion behind it, the conviction behind it, then the strategy falls into place and the universe says, okay, you've got everything. Here you
Yep.
go.
Here you go. Boom.
Here's the wind right at your back. Get your wings flapping.
Yep. Well, and that's what they mean by the universe loves speed,
Yes,
right?
yes. But in order to get into fifth gear and have that speed, you do have to prepare.
Hmm.
And it isn't the mental preparation, other than allowing the soul and heart and spirit speak. Um, a lot of people, "Oh, yes, I need to do this and I need to do that." Remember, that's coming from the head, right? Yeah, you may need to do this or that, but you need to do it from here, not from there.
Yes. It's the energy that you're coming
Yes,
from. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. If the to-do lists come from the feeling of lack, the feeling of I'm not doing enough, I don't know what to do, or I have
yeah.
to fill in these gaps. But the energy of coming from your
Mhm.
desire is it's done. I've already done it. So
Yes, I'm
this
just
is next.
clarifying it.
Yes, right, right. It's just coming into fruition now, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And then you know what to do with it because you've already perceived it. And I think that's a lot of it does require people to get out of their heads. I'm always saying, get out of your head. It has its job, but it needs its instructions from the heart and soul. It
Hmm.
needs its instructions from the spirit and not just from the head, because that's data and you run around with data. And it's also, we've got to look at programming. How much programming has that head had? How much do you have to deprogram
A
so that you're
lot.
open? A lot, exactly. And the willingness to kind of attack one program and go, okay, oh, this is alive in another.
Yes. Yes. And we have to make sure that we're on the lookout for those things that are going to hold us back, those programs that are saying, no, 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 you're going to not make it. You're not going to do it. Right. And we have to listen to those and say, hey, I'm not picking you up today. No, 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 no. I want this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not picking you up today. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes it literally is like putting on some music that gets
Mhm.
you up and moving,
Yep.
right? And just like shake your sillies out, shake the negative out,
Yep.
go and do something that brings you joy. Because when you're back in joy, you're back in productivity.
Yeah. Yeah, and to the your point about meditating, I I thought meditation was a bad word back when I first started doing it, right? Because I grew up Catholic and we were just supposed to pray. But but meditation was so much it's been so much deeper for me, but I didn't know how to do it at first.
Hmm.
I just spent 5 minutes and I was quiet and I was like, this is hard.
Yes,
But I
yes,
kept doing it and I tried different things. And to your point, there are so many different ways of getting there.
exactly.
So don't give up, right?
And like I have ADD, so I know that, sit and do nothing, forget it. So I give my head a job.
Hmm.
And when my head is doing that job, my heart, soul, and spirit can calm. Because
Hmm.
this is like, I could do this in my sleep, this job, but I'm giving it to my head to do that job. And then the rest of me can calm down and be at place. Is we have a lot of us with the dyslexia and ADD, and it's like, how do I shut down? Well, kind of being around horses. They'll center you, being
Hmm.
around animals, going for a walk in the woods, being around water, which is a conduit, letting the wind clear the cobwebs and just being present, deliberately looking at a flower growing. I've got hummingbirds over here, watching them, them drink. And it's focusing on those things that bring your heart joy. And then you'll actually find that is actually a form of meditation.
It is. And it's interesting that you mention all things that are natural to this world,
Exactly. Exactly.
right? And nothing
Exactly.
has to be fabricated.
Mm-mm.
Everything is here for us.
And a lot of the times when people go jogging and walking, they've got things in their ears and you're listening to a podcast or this and that, all very well. I'm always encouraging people to listen to podcasts. But at the same time, it's like, try listening to nature. It's
Mhm.
speaking to you all the time.
Yes.
Those birds tweeting, the way, what the energy of the tree is putting out, the ocean, the water, everything around you is talking to you to support you. Pay attention, be
Yeah.
present.
Yeah. Wallace D. Waddle says nature is friendly to your plans.
Yes, exactly. Because I think what we all look for is that when we get that deep breath, it feels right,
Yeah.
right? That is
Mhm.
the key in the door.
It
But
is.
to get to that feeling of feel right, you do have to deprogram. You do have to shut the head off. You do have to trust the heart and the soul and the spirit and the energy that you're portraying and the energy that you're inviting, right? Which is really important. Find your vibe tribe.
Yes. It is so important to find people who are on the same trajectory.
Hmm.
It is because it's so easy to find the opposite.
Exactly. And you can read, you can listen, you can do all of those things. I highly recommend doing that. But when you're ready to actually move forward, that's when you need someone like you. That's when you're ready to receive because you've done your homework,
Mhm.
right? Part of that deprogramming by reading something and showing the mind there's another thing. This is what I want to focus on. Now I need to go to someone that can help me take it to that next stage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I find that it's easy to gather the knowledge because it feels so good to read
Mm,
something great by someone great, right?
yeah.
But and say, "Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that." But we don't do it. And so that's when we need somebody, a coach to say,
Yes.
"Here's your accountability. This is what we need to do. This is what's next. Let's go. Come on. I'll take you
Yeah.
by the hand. Let's go."
Go and read that chapter, then let's have a discussion on it. What
Yes.
does it really mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Star Trek fan, and there's the Star Trek Academy. And then last night they did a whole episode kind of around a play, and it was a way of overcoming trauma that the kids had gone through, right? And I thought it was so poignant, kind of the type of play that they had chosen, because it was an observation by the narrator and it was the experience that kind of mirrored their experience, even though it was a totally different experience. And I think that's the thing. Sometimes we just need to be able to have a conversation with someone that gets it,
Mm-hmm.
all right, that can also show us a different perspective, a different side, and a different way of looking at something, because then it becomes that aha moment. Oh, I hadn't thought of it that way.
Right. Right. And the other person is not speaking in your own programming. They're
Right.
speaking in a different program.
Yes.
So that is the perception shift is key.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Now let's get back to your books because, of course,
Okay.
they're still very much there. Um, and so you've got the gym rats, which people can find on Amazon. So just talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I have five Gym Rats books that those were the first ones that I wrote. And I wrote them because I really wanted to start my publishing company and I wanted to have something that I knew I could write and be good at and share with the world through my publishing company. And so I started off with Gym Rats Basic Training. And one of the things that I grew up with in the sport of gymnastics that not every gymnast grows up with is a positive atmosphere. And
Mm,
I wanted all the gymnasts, no matter what type of gym they came from, to be able to access what it looked like to have a positive coach and role model in their
mm.
lives.
So, you're not in that arena anymore, but what you've left behind is the wisdom. So, anybody putting their kid in gymnastics right now, these are the books to read, which is empowering their own voice. If they don't like what's happening in the gym, they can speak out or they can bring that perception to their gym and get more out of it and perhaps even share it with others that can change the whole arena there. So the books keep on giving. But there's something else too, is that you are plant-based diet, which I love.
Yeah.
I'm 80% there. I've got that 20%, depending where I'm at. But that is also something, it is a choice, but it's also a really mentally and physically and spiritually healthy choice, isn't it?
It is. And we felt, as soon as we did it, we felt like we were in charge all of a
Mm,
sudden of our health and of what, I think everyone seems to feel like, oh, I hope I don't get this. I hope I don't get that. And we feel this confidence of we're good. We know what's going in and we
yes.
know we know the ramifications of it and we know that it's positive and we feel great actually. So we
Hmm.
know that it's good. And one of the things people at the gym asked us when we were told them we were plant-based, they're like, well, where do you get your protein? And
Hmm.
and I'm like, well, I have lots of muscles, so don't worry about that. We get lots of protein from all of the greens and the quinoa and the
Exactly.
beans and all the
Mm.
things that we eat.
Yes, it's
Nature,
been a
nature can feed us.
yes, and like it wasn't always designed for us, to eat meat. Like nature provided all the other nutrients for us, and I've done many shows on veganism and for different reasons to change to it. But you can really, I mean, my daughter and her three children, they're 100% vegan, and if you look at my grandsons, they're very healthy kids.
Yes.
Yes, they get the colds and things like that, daycare, but they're solid. They're very, very solid. And I think that is we've got to again get rid of the illusion that a slab of meat is what you need when there's so many other choices. And maybe you look at the moral compass behind it as well. So again, another choice to look at. But you've also got a free gift for us. So a free offer, the Economy Creators Workshop. Can you tell us about that, please, and how people can join up for that?
Sure, absolutely. So the Economy Creators Workshop is something that I do every month. It's free and it's for 3 days during the first full week of the month. And what I do is help you evaluate where your personal economy is. So the first step, there are 3 steps to creating a vibrant economy as a leader. And the first step is lead yourself. We talked about this a little bit before.
Mhm.
And so I take people through ways to figure out if they are, in fact, leading themselves, or are they just gathering the information and saying that would be a good idea and not doing it. And so leading ourselves, making decisions, being able to decide where you want to go, listening to that inner voice, developing your intellectual faculties. And so that is the first step. And then the second day, we talk about leading our economy. So we map it out. What do I want to do? Where's the balance in it? Am I like saying spinning plates. So get one plate spinning and then get another plate spinning and then get that first one spinning again and then add things to your economy and build that. And then day 3 is learning about leading others and
Mm,
showing up as the leader that you would want to be led
mm,
by. So that's really what we do. And so you evaluate yourself objectively during these 3 days and see where you're thriving and see where you need support.
mhm. And people can go to magnetminddevelopment.com/economy. And of course, that's the your site as well, magnetminddevelopment.com.
Mhm.
And you're still publishing. So that is, can you tell people what that is? Also, your Facebook, LinkedIn, and your YouTube, too, darling?
Yeah, sure. So IrisBlu Publishing is my publishing company. So it's IrisBlu Publishing.com. And I'm Mary Farias on both LinkedIn and Facebook. You can find me there.
Can you spell your surname, love, for those that are listening?
Sure, it's Farias.
So that's very easy. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. You can just put in her name there. And obviously, YouTube, you've got an awful lot to share there as well. So, whether you've got a kid going into gymnastics or you just want to read the books to actually know how you can speak to your kids about it, that it's books are a gift that keeps on giving. And again, the thing about book clubs is that people read it and they all have a different perspective of it. So this is what I always say with podcasts: have a podcast party, or podcast, yeah, party. Listen to a podcast. Everybody take notes and have a different perspective over it. That's how you advance and grow, etc. Be willing to talk about your journey. There are going to be people that will go, no, 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 stay where you are. Who do you think you are? I won't associate with you if you do that. Let them go. That's their journey. Don't let them have clamps on your journey. Find that vibe tribe. This goes, you're doing what? What can I do to help? Oh, this is exciting. I can't wait to see what you do next. Find the people that are going to be the wind behind your back. But understand you don't have to do this alone. If you want, just start off with the free offer and take this, do your assessment, and then go, okay, I'm now ready to talk to Mary, and go, where my next steps, my next direction. Because not everybody knows what they desire. They're so conditioned still by the expectation. And you want to let your desire free, right?
Yeah.
Want to let it out of the bag and then know how to pursue it. Understand there is a journey getting there, but you don't have to do it alone. And you've set out some wonderful steps that they can follow that can lead to that desire and how they can have it, right?
Yeah.
Their own economy.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here with us, Mary. It's been delightful having you here.
Oh, thank you for such a great conversation, Sarah.
And, you know, it doesn't matter whether you've got a horse, a dog, a cat, nature, whatever. Start listening, start feeling, start taking the journey, start assessing what is the dialogue and what's the heart message, and just be willing to take the journey. Mary's there, ready for you when you're ready. And if you've got a kid going into gym or anybody interested in gym, read the books, because it isn't just about, you know, the horse or the rings or the anything else. It's there's so much discipline and focus in it that can be led into everything else in life, which is important. Let go of the expectation, start embracing the desire. So
Yeah.
until next time, bye for now, folks. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you to listen to right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Come and hear the illumination that's going to shed light on your path.
Find your path.